As we're getting you the latest of Cyclone Nisarga, let's focus first on the city of Mumbai, which is on high alert as it braces for its first in a matter of 129 years. Cyclone Nisarga is currently over the Arabian Sea and it's about 200 kilometers south of Mumbai. The first high tide is expected in the city in 15 minutes from now. That's at 10:15 a.m. The second high tide for the day is expected in the night after 9:45 p.m. People living in low-lying areas, slums and shanties have been moved to safer locations. 8 NDRF teams have been deployed in the city. Section 144 has been imposed on all beaches and parks to restrict movement of people. Mumbai, currently the worst affected by coronavirus outbreak with over 41,000 cases, is now on high alert for a cyclone. And residents of Mumbai have also taken several precautionary measures as they brace for the cyclone. Take a look at one such resident who tells us how he gets his house ready for the cyclone.
It is notified that the storm is going to pass through Alibag to Bombay. We have taken precautions. We have closed our windows completely and we have drawn the curtains to ensure that in the event of glass panes getting broken for heavy winds, the glass cannot enter the room. I am also removing the photo frames because this has also the capacity to act like a missile in the event of wind blowing into the room. We have also removed all crystals and showpieces from the ledge and also disconnected our Wi-Fi and cable TV so that in the event of lightning hitting it, the instrument should not be damaged.
So Mumbaikars are also trying to ensure that the damage within their homes is minimal. Now in a cyclone, it's not about really the rain but the winds that causes the maximum damage, and that's why you're seeing a lot of preparations on to ensure that trees don't fall on roads, that you've got those huge banners, that they don't fall either. SN Pradhan, NDRF DG, is now joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Pradhan, thank you for joining us here on India Today. Can you just tell us how the NDRF now is prepared for the cyclone?
Well, the NDRF has deployed a substantial number of teams on ground. The teams are to the tune of 43 teams total in the two states. We have 21 teams in Maharashtra itself and 16 teams in Gujarat. And other teams are in reserve. So they are all on ground in the coastal districts, and for the last 2 days they have been doing awareness campaigns and evacuation. And the evacuation is almost nearing completion, especially in Maharashtra impact districts. Gujarat has already done, and the last figures that I have got is more than 30,000 to 40,000 people have been evacuated in Maharashtra and almost 50,000 in Gujarat. So that is a substantial number, and I think now the situation is can be said to be under control. Although you cannot really say something for everything for certain about the nature and natural calamities. But I think the preparations which we have made are on the principle of preparing for the worst, and I think we should get to the other side of the cyclone with relative low loss of life and property.
Mr. Pradhan, the challenge perhaps for the NDRF at this point is that many of your teams were still deployed in Bengal in some of the relief work after Cyclone Ampan, and now you have another cyclone to deal with. You can't compare the two, of course, intensity is very different. But how have you dealt with this? The fact that they still deployed for relief work there. Do you have enough personnel on the ground now in Maharashtra and Gujarat?
Of course, we have enough personnel, but as you said, our resources have been stretched, not to the extent that last year almost all the entire NDRF, all the battalions were engaged in the floods. So that situation has not yet happened. So that is mercifully better than last year. But so far, because of the engagement of massive amount of NDRF personnel in the Cyclone Amphan, we did not anticipate that there will be, while we are still engaged, we are still working in the Kolkata and the southern districts of the coastal districts of West Bengal. That is when this has happened, and we have had to dip into our resources and bring the teams to the western coast, the Arabian Sea. But well, we are for this job and we are up for it, and I think we should be able to negotiate this successfully.
What we very often see, Mr. Pradhan, in the case of cyclones is the aftermath is perhaps much worse. It takes days really for cities, for districts to recover from the effect and the impact of the cyclone. Do you have a lot of teams also on standby in the eventuality that, there's a widespread damage that's reported in some parts?
Well, only yesterday, 2 flight loads of NDRF personnel, 5 teams each, that is about in excess of 200 personnel were transported from Batinda by Air Force aircraft and from Vijayawada. So we are geared to transport personnel if required from other parts of the country for the restoration work. But I would not anticipate that kind of a damage and destruction that Amphan had wreaked on say, the urban areas of Kolkata. But then as I said, we have to be prepared for the worst. And that's why we have kept teams on standby all across the country to be rushed into Mumbai or Gujarat, wherever it is required.
Okay. Mr. Pradhan, thank you for joining us. I appreciate the work also that the NDRF is doing on the ground there as we brace for that cyclone. We're also getting a breaking update now on the story.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.